Hi.
Hi.
What are vaccines?
Vaccines are a substance used to enhance the production of antibodies and provide immunity against diseases.
How do they work?
Well, vaccines contain weakened/killed off version of the virus/antigen, which is then injected into the body.
The immune system then detects that there is a foreign substance lurking around and responds by making antibodies to kill the virus. After this process, the immune system remembers the germ and how to destroy it, so if you ever come across the same virus in the future, the immune system can destroy it before it makes you sick.
Components of vaccine?
In most cases, there are several major components as to the parts of a vaccine.
The fundamental component of all vaccines are the weakened or killed viruses or bacteria, otherwise known as the active ingredients. Other than this, the main component in vaccines is water. Added ingredients are also present in small amounts, one of them being adjuvants.
Adjuvants are chemical components added to vaccines to assist the body's immune system's response. An example of a common adjuvant are aluminum salts, which keep the active ingredients of the vaccine near the site of the injection, leading it to be more easily accessible for immune cells.
Wowza! But wait, there are many other types of added ingredients contained in vaccines.
Antibiotics are used to prevent dangerous bacterial contamination during the manufacture of the vaccine.
Examples of typical antibiotics consist of gentamicin and neomycin.
Preservatives prevent contamination of vaccines after its manufacture.
A common one used is thimerosal, a mercury-based preservative. It prevents bacteria and fungi from growing, which can contaminate from the environment when the vaccine is opened.
Other compounds used as preservatives include phenol and phenoxyethanol,
as well as gelatin and MSG.
Stabilizers. They protect live viruses against the effects of temperature for the duration of their shelf life.
They usually consist of inorganic magnesium salts such as sorbitol and gelatin.
Trace components, used in the production of some vaccines to inactivate viruses and detoxify bacterial toxins, ensuring they don't result in a sickness when injected.
Some examples of trace components include formaldehyde and glutaraldehyde.
It is possible that tiny traces of these trace components may remain in the vaccine, but in very low concentration.
Acidity regulators keep the vaccine at the right pH level.
Common acidity regulators consist of potassium phosphate and sodium phosphate,
which not only keep the pH balance, but keep fragments of active ingredients suspended in water so they don't settle out. Taste improvers are present as well, typically in orally given vaccines.
In most cases, sucrose is added to give a more pleasant taste. There are also components that are used in the production/growing of the vaccine, but are not necessarily in the final vaccine.
Some of these include cell strains from animals or humans.
F and Li.
Vaccines also need to be diluted to their required concentration level, and usually will be done using sterile water, or a saline solution.
I don't know. All these chemicals sound a little concerning, right? Am I really putting dangerous things inside my body? I mean, look at all these Facebook posts. Oh wait, there's this article on Off the Grid News. It's called Natural Vaccination Alternatives for You and Your Kid. Maybe this can give us the answer.
You sure you want to trust this?
I mean, why not? This person seems to know about surviving. What's her name? Carmen.
Cough cough. According to this article, it states that those who are opposed to vaccines can quickly point to the annual flu vaccines as evidence that vaccines don't work. Several studies have come out recently that prove that the flu vaccine can actually make an individual sicker than if they didn't get the vaccine.
Oh my goodness, this is terrible.
Indeed it is terrible, but it's also not true. First off, you can't get the flu from the flu vaccine. If you feel sick after receiving the vaccine, it's the body's natural immune response to the vaccine, it is not the flu. The influenza vaccine can't make you sick because vaccines use inactivated viruses that cannot transfer diseases. Don't worry, you're not injecting yourself with sickness.
This article also says, vaccines have nothing to do with the disappearance of diseases. Infectious diseases like polio and measles were on the decline before the introduction of vaccines.
Not entirely true either. While the spread of viral diseases were slowly decreasing due to better living conditions and sanitation, massive drops in the amount of people affected correlate more to when vaccines were introduced. By 2000, measles was declared eliminated in the US due to high vaccination rates.
Let's see what else this article says.
Are you sure you want to trust this? It's already been proven false multiple times.
I need more reinforcement that vaccines are dangerous.
Do we really need to look at this? I mean, I can just tell you the information.
No. We keep going. Next, the article says, you have to consider what's in the vaccination. For example, most vaccines contain thimerosal, a seemingly clever code name for the heavy metal mercury. The purpose, to help preserve the vaccine so its shelf life is extended. But what's the result on our health? Many will say that the mercury in vaccines causes autism. Mercury isn't the only material that one has to be concerned about. Other dangerous materials that are contained within vaccines include, aluminum, can cause several neurodegenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's disease. Formaldehyde, carcinogen, known to cause upper respiratory tract problems and can be harmful to our lymphatic and hematopoietic systems. Monosodium glutamate. Sorbitol, a potential liver and gastrointestinal toxicant. Ammonium sulfate, a neurotoxicant and a potential liver, gastrointestinal, and respiratory toxicant. Diploid cells, from aborted fetuses. Macerated cancer cells. Detergent, Triton X100, animal tissues, such as rabbit brain, horse blood, and pig blood.
Oh my goodness, okay, let's knock off a few off the bat. No, vaccines do not contain cancer cells. Maybe Carmen thought that if viral vaccines contain the virus, then logically, cancer vaccines contain cancer cells that are MACE-rated. But really, vaccines that prevent cancer don't contain cancer, they contain viruses that are known to cause cancer like HPV or hepatitis B. Also, vaccines don't give you cancer. No data has ever shown a correlation between cancer rates and vaccines. For a long time, cancer rates in the population have been stable. Also, no, vaccines do not contain aborted fetuses, or any human. And no, vaccines do not contain animal tissues. The process of creating the vaccine uses immortalized human or animal cell lines to grow the virus. Even then, those cells are removed later on in the vaccine creation process.
But humans? Animals?
That's unethical.
No. So the cells make up tissue and body parts, but you don't need to chop off an entire arm to get human cells. Even then, in vaccines, immortalized cell lines are used. These are a population of cells that can constantly undergo cell division without ever really dying due to a mutation. These cells just keep on growing and are not attached to anything with a conscience, kinda like how plants grow in a garden. No babies, humans, or animals, were harmed in the creation of vaccines. Now let's dispel some more negativity this article says about the stuff in vaccines. So it's actually true that vaccines contain Triton X100, ammonium sulfate, sorbitol, message, formaldehyde, and mercury.
All these fancy name chemicals? It's dangerous to have all this unnatural, terrifying chemicals and substance in my kid and me.
If you're trying to say chemicals are bad, technically, everything around us is a chemical. Now, are these chemicals dangerous? Well, it's not, in vaccines at least. Vaccines are safe, very safe.
But vaccines have mercury.
Vaccines don't just have full-on mercury, it has thimerosal. Okay. I know it said in the article that thimerosal is another name for mercury, but that is also not true. Thimerosal is a mercury-based preservative/chemical compound that has been used for many years in vaccines. Thimerosal is safe. Scientists have studied it for years and haven't found any evidence of it causing any harm. The reason it's safe even though it contains mercury is that it contains ethyl mercury as opposed to methyl mercury. Methyl mercury is dangerous, not just because of the potential damage it can do to the brain, but because it can remain in the bloodstream for a very long time, its half-life being 1.5 months. But ethyl mercury, the type in thimerosal, breaks down much faster, its half-life being less than 1 week. Even then, when thimerosal is used, it is removed later in the process so only very small traces remain. Something to understand is that elements can make up different compounds. Although the elements used to make the compound could be deadly on their own, when bonded, it could be completely safe, and vice versa. Similar things can be said with ethyl mercury and methyl mercury. Let's look at aluminum, which Carmen also said was dangerous and caused Alzheimer's. Vaccines contain aluminum, but as aluminum salts. The aluminum salts used in vaccines don't cause Alzheimer's. For example, aluminum hydroxide is even used in skincare products. So can aluminum hurt you? Well, yes, but not through vaccines. Infants are fed more aluminum than what's given in vaccines. Really, anything can be harmful in the right amounts, even plain OL water. Knowing that, let's talk about the other chemicals Carmen said. Formaldehyde, there's 50 to 70 times more formaldehyde in a newborn's body than in a dose of vaccine. Monosodium glutamate, the UN who declared it safe, it's also in a lot of chips like Doritos and Cheetos. Sorbitol is naturally produced in the human body, and in fruits. Ammonium sulfate, found in fertilizer, once again, only dangerous in high amounts. Detergent, Triton X100, not the kinda you put in your clothes. A lot of anti-vax arguments for Triton X100 is that it's a code name for a vaginal spermicide, and that it kills sperms. No, it's not. There are different types of Triton X100s, and the type in spermicides is octazinol 9. But Triton X100 in vaccines is octazinol 10. Octazinol 9 has 9 repeating ethoxy groups, while octazinol 10 has 10. Again, these are not the same thing. And then Carmen proceeds to list alternatives to vaccines. Okay, side note, there really is no alternative for vaccines. The things Carmen listed may have health benefits, but they won't 100% prevent you from getting sick. Also, it says that these are natural as if it's better than artificial methods to keep people safe, but many chemicals in vaccines are actually found in nature. That doesn't really matter anyways because the stuff in nature is made up of elements, and the stuff in labs are also made up of elements. Let's look at formaldehyde again. The formaldehyde in vaccines is exactly the same as the formaldehyde found in apples. Same structure, elements, and everything. And aren't apples supposed to be healthy? So all in all, vaccines are completely safe. Anyway, if they weren't, there'd be no way the UN, FDA, or who would approve it. Although Carmen has been very wrong about everything so far, at least she is right about doing your own research, and consult doctors. Wait, where did you go?
I have done my own research. And I have found that everything, the FDA, the UN, WHO, CDC, it's a government conspiracy to kill off the human race. Vaccines are a conspiracy by the government, they're lying to you.
What? No, they're...
You're plotting to kill me.
No, I'm not.
Leave me alone.